We've been getting a lot of inquiries recently about vestibular migraines, so it's a particularly hot topic. So today I'm going through where does this dizziness actually come from, and most importantly, what can you do to help this dizziness? So hi, I'm Dr. Beth, osteopath here at Melbourne Headache Solutions. So vestibular migraines, as those of you experiencing vestibular migraines are very well aware, are the migraines that are commonly associated with dizziness as the predominant symptom. So you can get it with or without head pain, and most commonly then you get other associated features like nausea, light and sound sensitivity. It's very common to get these things as well, but as I said, the most common prevalent feature of a vestibular migraine is that dizziness sensation. So with vestibular migraines, they can either be episodic, meaning that they turn on and off. So usually they last between 4 to 72 hours, and then in between episodes you don't have dizziness. Or alternatively, then you can get vestibular migraines that are constant. So you can feel dizziness all of the time, but then you will have spikes in your dizziness that usually last between 4 to 72 hours, where it's more intense. Okay, so you can either get it all the time, or you can just get spikes in the dizziness but be fine in between times. So those are the most common presentations of vestibular migraines. So where does this dizziness actually come from? So we have our vestibular system, which is our balance system, which basically creates a 3D map of where we are in space. It lets us know where we are in relation to other objects and where other objects are in relation to us, okay? And when this gets disrupted, then we feel dizzy. When it comes time for a vestibular migraine though, our balance system, the information that we're receiving does not get disrupted. That information is okay. It's actually the processing of this information which gets disrupted. Okay? So the processing center for this information is known as the brainstem. So the brainstem actually becomes hyperexcitable or becomes sensitized, and so all the information that we receive from areas like our ears, our eyes, our sense of touch and those sorts of things actually gets muddled. So it receives the information okay, but it can't process it properly because it's too excited, it's hyperexcitable. So we get this sensation of dizziness, and as I said, we can get those other associated features like nausea, light sensitivity, and you can get head pain as well with that. So what we need to do is we need to decrease that sensitivity of the brainstem back down to a more normal level so that it can process the information that we're receiving from our vestibular system, from our balance system, so that we no longer feel dizzy, so that you don't get those sensations of either rocking, swaying, lightheadedness, off balance, big whirls and those sorts of things. So that's what we need to do. So how do we actually get this dizziness in the first place? There are many things that can contribute to vestibular migraines and that increased sensitivity level of our brainstem, but one of the most common things and one of the biggest factors is actually the top 3 joints of our neck sitting up here. So the lower part of the brainstem is actually housed in the upper part of the neck here. And so chronic dysfunctions can create this sensitivity level or contribute to this sensitivity level of our brainstem, which can create these vestibular migraines. So things like trauma or extended periods of bad posture, so poking your head forwards or looking down for long periods of time, stomach sleeping and those sorts of things can all contribute to creating vestibular migraines. Things like increased stress and bad diets, nutritional deficiencies and hormonal issues and those sorts of things can all contribute to them as well. But a major contributor is the top 3 joints of the neck here. So if we assess it and treat it in a thoughtful manner, then we often see significant changes to vestibular migraines through a thorough and thoughtful assessment and treatment of those top 3 joints, as well as looking at the other areas that can contribute to vestibular migraines as well. As I said, stress and anxiety is definitely a big one when it comes time for any dizziness condition, and also looking at, as I said, the other areas, so hormones. We definitely see a spike in dizziness often around women and their menstrual cycle. And as I said, looking at deficiencies in supplements like magnesium, making sure that you're eating a good diet and all those sorts of things, and definitely good quality sleep, because dizziness does tend to peak when you've got poor sleep as well. so looking at these areas. With vestibular migraines, it is very common that people are diagnosed with a vestibular migraine when actually they have a vestibular disorder. So you do want to make sure that you've got the right diagnosis, because as I said, vestibular migraine is a disturbance in the processing of information. It's not a problem with your actual vestibular system. A vestibular disorder is when you've actually got an issue with your vestibular system, which means it needs to be treated differently. You need vestibular rehab exercises so that you can retrain the vestibular system so that the information that you're getting in is actually accurate. So you want to make sure that you've got a right diagnosis so that you're being treated accurately. And that's what we do here at Melbourne Headache Solutions. We make sure that, one, you've got the right diagnosis so that you've got the right treatment approach, and sometimes you've got both going on at the same time, and we make sure that we're treating you in the right way. So if you've got any questions or queries, or if you know someone who's got vestibular migraines, please share this with them, tag them, drop us a comment, share your story if you're suffering with vestibular migraines. Let us know, and if you've got any questions or queries, please let me know. I'd love to get back to you, love to hear if you've got anything that you need to or want to share. Let me know. I hope you found this useful, and I'll catch you next time, guys. Thanks.